Good morning. The Lord be with you. This is the day that the Lord has made. This is Pastor Derrick Watson from Gardnertown United Methodist Church. Give me a word for today. Our text is coming from Mark chapter 12, verse 31, 38 to 44. And it reads, as he taught, Jesus said, "Watch out for the teachers of the law. They like to walk around in flowering robes and be greeted with respect in the marketplaces, and have the most important seats in the synagogues and the places of honor at banquets. They devour widows' houses and for show make lengthy prayers. These men will be punished most severely." And Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were put and watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, but a poor widow came out and put in 2 very small copper coins, worth only a few cents. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all others. They all gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on." If I would use the title this morning, I would use, "Are we religious or are we faithful?" In this text, Jesus exposes to his disciples a religious system of oppression that shows how this widow's contribution is contributing to a system that will routinely oppress her under the name of religion. Are you religious or are you faithful? In this text, the widow is faced with participating in a religion that is devoid of true righteousness, because her way of practicing true faithfulness is at the same time a religious system that is devoid of justice, devoid of will, and in turn exploit her. This question this morning again is, are you religious or are you faithful? In order to be true disciples, Jesus teaches them, as he teaches us today, of what God requires, which is faithfulness, humility, not religion. And Jesus exposes the religious system of the day, and we would say today that is still the case today. And he exposes that, watch out for the religious scholars, people who supposed to be in depth and have a sound theological framework. What he says, they love to walk around in academic gowns and preening in radiance of public flattery and basking in prominent positions. As we know, the examples of Pope Francis turned that office upside down by his humility, choosing to drive a Fiat versus a Suburban. And Jesus exposes the system by saying, telling his disciples, watch out for them because they like to sit at the table of every church function. They want to be seen as the ones in charge. They are exploiting the weak and they exploit the helpless. Rather than support and help, they exploit the weak and the helpless. They like to have long and profound prayers, mainly just to be heard. When they give out of their wealth and their surplus, not out of their poverty. Their motives for worship and ceremonies are impure, and through their pious actions, they hope to gain status and recognition and respect. Are you religious or are you faithful? Jesus tells us true faithfulness, or being faithful, means not being distinguished by showy spirituality, but showing humility. Faithfulness is living for Christ even when no one else is looking. Faithfulness is being generous to God and to others. Sacrificial giving and sacrificial living. And Jesus gave us the ultimate sacrifice of what it means to be faithful. He gave his life, and he came to be a ransom, and he came to minister and not to be ministered to. So what does the Lord require of you? Does the Lord take delight in thousands of rams and 10,000 rivers of oil? Shall I present my firstborn for my rebellious act, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? He has told you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? But to do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly before your God. The word of God for the people of God.